Hello, all. I'm Phil. Welcome to the Veterans Military Listening Post Teller and Listener Mission. By your interest and viewership today, you demonstrate an extremely high form of patriotism. It's simple. It's called listening.
Hello, everyone. I'm Susan. I'd also like to welcome you to our mission. We at Veterans Military Listening Post say that patriotism comes in many forms. Listening to our veterans and military is patriotism at its best.
Personal and universal stories that will be shared with you today will serve the purpose of demonstrating the power of transformative programs of turnaround in conjunction with positive and uplifting steady state story power.
In seeing and hearing the following stories, one can also connect and recognize that these stories are part of each and every one of us. In fact, as this mission program progresses, you, the audience, will become part of the program simply by participating through listening.
We here at Veterans Military Listening Post believe that this program will touch your heart so that you too will be transformed to be a teller and listener patriot for our veterans and our military.
We would like to thank the invaluable support of our contributors, supporters, and sponsors for granting us this wonderful opportunity to do so. More importantly, we'd like to thank the members of our military who are presently serving by expressing our most sincere gratitude for their powerful protective strength of service for us and the free world.
In the military, the term forward march represents the progress of moving ahead in a strong, purposeful direction. Therefore, with the inclusion of you, our attentive audience, and welcome participants, we'll start this production with a proud and astounding Forward March.
Military forces have used listening posts for early warning, detection, and protection against their opposition for as long as conflicts have existed. When nighttime comes in a hostile military environment, a unit commander will deploy a manned team some distances beyond the company's fortified perimeter. The distinct purpose here is to protect the main detachment from surprise attacks. The team has special instructions to listen for sounds and movements which may pose a threat of imminent harm to their military unit. When hostility is detected, the manned team returns to their base to alert the company. The team then uses a password to return to the safety of the unit's fortified area. The Veterans Military Listening Post asks you, the listener, and teller of stories to carry on the traditions of a military listening post, yet in an incredibly positive way. The assignment? Connect and recognize the power of telling and listening to stories from our veterans, military, and yes, our family, friends, and ourselves. The password is compassion.
The word veteran means one who has given military service to their country. The word also has a civilian dictionary definition, meaning a person who has had long service or experience in an occupation or field. Eventually, we all become veterans in our own way. With the word veteran, we're sure that our new troops of doctors, nurses, first responders, bus drivers, mail carriers, and food delivery workers all help to uplift, care for, and protect our communities in their own right. Thus, they too should be recognized, respected, and appreciated as veterans of service to our country. The U.S. Armed Forces are extremely effective at transforming ordinary people into military experts by way of our Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and our newfound Space Force. This transformation is fundamental for the military's mission to succeed. As such, we can serve by listening to stories of our veterans and active military with a focus on positive outcome and opportunities. Subsequently, we will all be transformed in an extraordinary, positive, beneficial way. We're all excellent listeners. Listening to these universal stories, stories of bravery, endurance, skill, and passionate effort, all of which create confident, affirmative actions in everyday life. As you see and hear these stories, you'll find yourself thinking things like, I like this, or perhaps I could relate to that, or I admire that story. That in mind, as we listen with compassion and follow the strength and stability of all the stories shared today, we ourselves will become participants in their journey. Let us now welcome our first veteran military teller, Charlie. Charlie, tell your story.
Hi, Listening Post. My name is Charlie. I am a veteran, and I have a story to tell.
Charlie, tell your story.
After spending 6 months in combat on the Iraq border, the days seemed like they were never ending, each one blending into the next. Every day you live with this semi-heightened mental awareness that really burns right through you. Receiving news and support from home, friends and family managed to lift me up when things seemed to be pushing me down. My platoon buddies offered a lot of uplifting support also. My platoon leader, my platoon sergeant, my lieutenant, all seemed to be on level ground. You know, we faced a lot of dangerous situations, but no matter what, no matter their focus, their discipline was unwavering from mission to mission. Even though we faced some tough times, their support is an example of positive military experience. Fitting back into civilian life, well, that came with its challenges. And what I now call my civilian life mission is to utilize the resources that I gained in the military to be the best version of me I can be as a civilian. You see, nothing will disrupt my focus and what I have to do. I will adapt and adjust to the course that best suits me. And I must say, I'm very appreciative that someone would take the time to listen. Thank you. Thank you, audience.
Hi, Charlie. My name is Gail. I'm happy to be one of your listeners. Your story is encouraging for me. There are positive attributes in your description that honor you. Your information has also given me a better understanding of how things really are on the combat lines. I now also know just how important it is to receive news from loved ones. Your story takes uncertainty and turns it into certainty. Thank you for your story, Charlie, and your inspiring direction. I will always be grateful to you and all veterans for your service.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you for your kind words. It's very much appreciated. You know, to be transformative is helping me a lot. And to have someone take a moment to listen to what I have to say, it means a lot to me. It does. And again, thank you, audience. Thank you.
A personal way of recognizing and listening to veterans and military is through their hats. Veterans love their hats. Most veterans' hats tend to show their branch of service, such as Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, or Coast Guard. Sometimes the actual term of service is displayed on their hats. This is all very good. Be proud of your service and let everyone else be thankful for the service that you provided.
Now here's the catch. Sometimes, for a moment, a veteran might forget that they're wearing their veteran's hat. A person might come along and convey sincere appreciation. Sometimes there's a moment of silence as the veteran tries to figure out what the person's talking about before the veteran realizes their hat sparked the comment and then is able to respond. A very easy way of giving recognition when passing by a person who's displaying their military service hat is simply to say, "This actually works very well." It's a very quick and complete comment which immediately identifies what the speaker's referring to, while simultaneously recognizing your veteran's service to his or her country.
Hi, my name is Alan.
Hi, Alan. What's your story?
Hi, Alan. What's your story?
My Air Force military experience was a stepping stone to reaching many of my life goals. I went through intense training in various Air Force training centers. These training centers gave me the strength to tough out the rough spots and adjust to the middle ground with confidence. This enables me to continue to move forward until things position themselves in a clearer way. My military training was a disciplined journey. It taught me trustworthiness, reliability, and professionalism. When I fall from grace, which happens often, I call up the parts of my Air Force training and discipline, which have time and again proven to help me get back on track. It's truly a blessing that I have the opportunity to speak. The fact that I can express myself and my purpose and be heard means a lot to me. Thanks, Listening Post.
Alan, this is Roberto. I joined the Listening Post to see what help I could give as a listener. Well, your story has helped me understand what it means to build a support network that I can draw upon from the many positive life experiences that I have experienced myself. After listening to your story, I have recognized the resources that I have already acquired, such as the good friends and coworkers who have helped me with my goals. Your story was helpful. Thank you, Alan. I was supposed to help you by listening. Turns out, you ended up helping me.
I am building a steady state story all the time with bulletproof confidence in myself. I am glad I can tell my story.
Have you ever experienced a long bus ride or taken a bus from uptown to downtown? When we exit the bus at the bus stop, we take a few seconds to reorient ourselves, to determine where we are and what direction we want to proceed. Once we adjust to our surroundings, we develop a plan to continue on the next leg of our journey.
Imagine this bus ride. 30 new recruits on a bus, and the last and only stop is United States Army Base Basic Training Center, Fort Jackson in Columbia, South Carolina. This bus stop is a real life changer. Once off the bus and standing in front of a U.S. Army drill sergeant, a stare of realization glares in the eyes of the new recruits. The drill sergeant is their new reorientation expert. It is clear to the new recruits that playtime is over. Carefree tourism is not on the agenda, for this is the bus stop that will change their lives forever. This thunderous word reverberates through the recruits, shaking them to their core.
Drill sergeants are the military's backbone. They're the trainers of transformation, ingraining the enduring strength one will need for military service. For the new recruits, this is unlike any other bus stop. They are stunned and still. One would think, having arrived at this bus stop, the days that follow will be something to fear, but that's not so.
The intensive training which follows arriving at this bus stop becomes a 12-week journey that transforms these bus riders, these recruits, into polished, performance-oriented American soldiers. Deciding to go in a positive direction, even at uncertain bus stops in life, opens innumerable doors and creates countless possibilities for positive outcomes in your life. The receiving drill sergeant, whose voice projects an unmatched demeanor of leadership and command, instructs the bus riders. So believe in the good possibilities when you are at uncertain stops and crossroads in life, and then be reassured that good things will follow.
Hello, Listening Post. My name is Samantha.
Hello, Samantha.
Hello, Samantha.
I'm on this road with you, and I am quite thankful for you guys. I would like to tell you a story about my time in the Marine Corps. When I was called for service in 2005, during the Iraq conflict, my unit was responsible for part of security called the Green Zone in the Baghdad area of Iraq. Green Zone is a military term that specifies an area that is considered relatively safe from insurgents and enemy forces. My unit saw its fair share of action throughout my tour. At times, I thought it would never end. There were both good and tough times. It is the good times I choose to remember, and the tough times I choose to let go. I guess you could say that in the long run, I met some good buddies. and learned some great lessons that I believe now help me in my present life.
Hi, Samantha. I'm Denise. Hey, wow. Good story. You have a very healthy outlook on your time in the service. I admire the way you have chosen to remember the good. Also, the information you provided about the green zone is interesting. You are such a good storyteller. Please continue with more stories.
Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thank you, Samantha, for sharing.
Back in the 1950s, there was a famous comic book military hero known as Sergeant Rock. Sergeant Rock readily exhibited the heroism of the sergeants of the United States Armed Forces. The name Sergeant Rock signifies courage and bravery. There's a part of the Sergeant Rock story which remains universal. It continues to be part of all of our stories, even today. Many of the stories about our lives, the lives of veterans and active military, are stories which have distress, fear, shock, and loss woven into them.
In most heroic movies, we see the hero get pummeled, crushed, and flattened. It seems, for the moment, that there is nothing left of our hero. You might say, that's the end of that hero. However, there is always an uplifting moment in these stories, a turnaround, a small action of sacrifice, perseverance, and endurance. When the hero of the story, personified by Sergeant Rock, the hero who resides in all of us, turns the seemingly lost and foregone story into a new and better present story.
Now, it's not easy, but what hero's story is? Through small acts of telling and listening to a new story, a tough, hopeless mission can turn into a positive, successful mission.
Hi, Listening Post. My name is Sasha.
Hello, Sasha. Tell your story.
Hello, Sasha. Tell your story.
I've been listening to these stories, and I'd like to tell one of my own. As a single mother of two, you might think it'd be difficult to manage a family and rise to the demands set by the Army of its staff. Well, it is. I'm still in the Army after 9 years, and my goal is to make this my career. I'm always juggling the responsibilities of my profession and my duties as a single mother. It is extremely difficult. With the tremendous support of the Army and my team members, I am able to have plenty of good things to say. I live on post and receive Army services on base, like housing and schooling for my children. So this has helped me to fulfill my duties as a mother and to my country. I have attained the rank of Sergeant First Class. My neighbors, the Army wives, and my friends are an invaluable resource to me. They've helped me with my children and my time management. I'm happy to be able to tell my story because it shows how much my support team has helped me. My story is helping begets helping. I am so grateful for the help that others have given me, and I truly hope that my story helps someone else.
Hello, Sasha. My name is Michelle. What an excellent story. You have put together the events that demonstrate to me why you hold the rank of Sergeant First Class. I love the phrase juggling responsibilities. It sounds to me like you know how to organize and manage yourself very well. You talk mostly about how others in your life inspire you. You have a very generous spirit. You are full of gratitude and you speak with praise about others. So please continue with the stories. They are great and very inspiring.
Thank you, Michelle. It's very kind of you to say.
You know, in one way or another, we all go through some type of basic training in our lives. It's a time and place where substantial changes occur, sending you off on a different path. Basic training in the U.S. military is one of those challenging reset paths for those who dare to be great and plan to have a positive impact on their country. An hour in basic training might go something like this. It's 4:45 a.m. The amplified sound of deep sleep snoring from the recent arrival of new recruits fills the barracks. Fall in means to be outside the barracks and dressed in uniform for the daily run. You may for a moment think you're dreaming, that you'll soon wake up to the cooking scent of your mother's pancakes, bacon, and eggs. But here, well, there's no such luck. Here, the business at hand is to run, and run you will.
Oh, and no fancy running shoes here. Combat boots all the way. Whatever is asked and ordered for you to do, the drill sergeant will do it first while looking like he just came out of a tanning booth, never breaking a sweat, to show you how easy things are in basic training. The run will last close to an hour. You'll run uphill, downhill, over fields and roads, with no stopping until the drill sergeant decides to slow the run down into a marching cadence. The rhythm of the cadence goes something like this.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Going through any type of basic training in life is tough. However, this toughness will always chisel out new and rewarding changes.
The good thing about the run in military basic training is that you will eventually wind up at the mess hall, otherwise known as the cafeteria, and this turns out to be a very good thing. Food.
Hello listeners, my name is Joe, I'm a Marine veteran, and I have a story.
Hello, Joe. Tell your story.
Hello, Joe. Tell your story.
Hello, Joe. Tell your story.
So as you know, the saying goes, once a Marine, always a Marine. But as you also know, most of these professions come with their challenges. Now, if you ask somebody, would you do this job or would you do that job, they'll probably say, I'm just not cut out for it, or it's just not one of my choices, or it would probably take too much schooling. For me, a difficult challenge would be a rice paddy farmer, a jet fighter pilot, a monk, or maybe even a heart surgeon. But I also believe that these professions take time and endurance, just like being a Marine. For me, boot camp and the advanced training in the Marines also falls into the category of a challenging profession. If you ask most people, could you be a Marine, the answer will probably be, I wish, but I just couldn't endure the training. I believe part of staying healthy means constantly pushing toward your dreams no matter what. My dream was to become a Marine. And like my fellow brothers, I worked very hard to become one. It took a lot of time, strength, and endurance, but I finally made it one step at a time. This feels very good to me. I thank you all, audience and listeners, for allowing me to share.
Hello, Joe. Semper Fi. My name is Donna, and I'm a fellow Marine veteran. Joe, you're the best of the best. As military veterans, you and I know that military basic training on Parris Island in South Carolina takes grit, mental fortitude, and courage. We've been there. I got a little choked up, maybe a little emotional hearing your story, Joe. Thank you for being so awesome. Thank you for your service. Thank you, my fellow Marine.
I am very skilled at staying healthy, and I'm always finding healthy ways of living.
You might think that basic training would be the toughest training you could go through in the military. Well, think again. Like going from college to grad school, the next course of action in military training requires plenty of effort for its completion.
The drill sergeants who train our military in non-commissioned officers training and all other advanced training in the military seem to have come out of a time zone of absolute control and expertise. They know everything, do everything, and always look like they can manage and take charge of any situation that occurs in their lives. These drill sergeants are like a good coach who inspires and gives you the direction that can propel you towards your life's greatest successes.
The big advantage that you have in moving to the next school, the next part of military training, is that there's a solid depth of understanding and experience that you take with you from your prior training. And this is great because the candidates that show up for NCO school in the military are no slouches. When the drill sergeant says the run is at 4:30 a.m., the candidates are ready to run strong, solid, and endurance-style runs.
When candidates perform maneuvers like rappelling down the training walls, they do it with courage that continues to grow and take root, further developing their confidence. When these soldiers stay up all night performing difficult night maneuvers, knowing the next day they will be doing more of the same, these fine young men will say, One of the duties during NCO training is to be in charge for a day as first sergeant. This is an exacting task.
When picked for this duty, you're required to attend an established NCO meeting with the lieutenants and captain for a briefing on the protocol for the next day's training. When the next morning comes, the acting first sergeant is in the spotlight, calling the full company unit to order in a football-sized field. The first sergeant, with his about face, then turns, pauses, and salutes the captain, otherwise known as the company commander. And that's just the beginning of the day.
Hello, listeners. I'm an old World War II vet. You can call me Pop.
Hi, Pop. Please tell us your story.
Hi, Pop. Please tell us your story.
Please, tell us your story.
I reckon I will. You know, after all this time, I'm wondering if folks will be calling World War II ancient history. If so, I gotta tell you, that's okay by me. My training from long ago has served me well. In World War II, the U.S. Navy needed what they call construction battalions, or Seabees. When I entered the Navy, I knew nothing at all about construction. I developed my skills through the excellent training I received with on-the-job experience and my involvement with tough naval operations. Fast forward to the present, I'm now living on a well-deserved pension that started with me being in the construction business because of my naval training. Since then, I've been living well, and I'm actually having fun telling my story. It actually feels really good to be able to share my journey.
Hi, Pop. Sean here. I'm in the construction industry as well, and hearing your story gives me goosebumps. I feel so much strength and purpose in your voice as you tell your story. You represent the heart of construction workers. We are the part of America that works very hard using strenuous physical labor and giving our very best efforts. Construction has its challenging times, but when you go to work and do your part, you always feel this deep sense of self-worth and satisfaction. You walk the solid walk, Pop, and for that, I thank you with great sincerity for sharing your story.
Thank you, Sean. Small moves build long, steady roads. If I uplift others, it will uplift me.
One good story is the many similarities of our men and women veterans and military and the characteristics of the legend St. Christopher. The folklore of stories about St. Christopher has been written and passed down throughout the years. Moreover, the stories convey the extraordinary and positive services that he undertook for the countless people during his lifetime. Take, for instance, the oath of service a military man or woman takes when entering the military. Military personnel promise to serve and defend their country when they take the oath of service.
The oath could be summed up like this: regardless of political views, race, religion, or any other diverse sides that we Americans may take, the military person will defend the country and you from any harm. This service of our veterans and present military, their sacrifice, strength, and protection are the river crossings of strength and perseverance that back up the freedom of the United States of America and the free world.
Because of the impartiality and dedication of the service that we can readily see in our veterans and military men and women, we can see that the St. Christopher effect is alive and well and is continually displayed with a strong resolve that will never fail. Today, St. Christopher was known as a protector of travelers. We now proudly proclaim that our veterans and military are effectively our St. Christophers of freedom.
Hello, listeners. My name's Barry, and I'd very much like to tell you my story.
Tell us your story, Barry.
Tell us your story, Barry.
In the beginning of my military basic training, I was one of those grunts. A little slow at picking up the training maneuvers required to pass basic training. The physical training was the toughest. I just couldn't pass that low crawl physical test within the required time. As we moved into the weeks of training, there was this super athletic guy in the same platoon as me. He became my friend. I called him Big G. He took me under his wing. He examined my low crawl and said these words, which helped me immensely. The low crawl just has a lot to do with a good technique. With Big G's coaching and practicing how to use my forearms as the pushing strength for the low crawl, I realized I could move at a much faster pace. I passed all the physical tests and basic training with Big G's help. I salute you, Big G, wherever you are. It's because of you that I'm here today telling this story. I truly enjoyed sharing this experience.
Hi, Barry. I'm Sally. Wow, you told such a great story. A short about people rising up and supporting one another during their military service days. And the truly amazing part about your story is it illustrates how opposite types of people can join forces to make things better for all. Hey, is Big G out there? If so, please get in touch with me. I'm available and I would love to get to know you better. I guess that's it. Thank you so much, Barry. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Telling a good story is a passion of mine. I thank you all for listening and look forward to sharing more of my important journey.
Have you ever met a rock star, movie star, or athletic star? How do you imagine it might make you feel? Maybe something like this. You're walking down your hometown's main street and pause to look at an interesting display in a store window.
You notice a person a short distance away who looks very familiar. You see and recognize this person as a famous movie star. Your heart starts to beat faster, your legs go wobbly, you get all flushed and you giggle.
The movie star approaches and pauses to look in the same window, and you casually strike up a conversation with you. You chat amicably for an extended period of time, learn that you have a bit in common, and eventually a movie star asks if you can recommend a good restaurant in town.
You pass on your best advice. The charming movie star thanks you. Having greatly enjoyed your conversation, he conveys appreciation of the fact that you've also been very helpful and invites you to keep in touch through a phone number exchange. Wow, super exciting. As soon as you take the next few steps from his encounter, you're texting and emailing and calling your family and friends to tell them you've just became friends with a famous movie star. You know what? It is exciting to share a very positive experience and relate a story that's uplifting and fun for others to hear.
Now suppose you're in an airport, maybe a store, a restaurant, or any public place. As you glance up, there's a United States military person or veteran in uniform walking into your field of view.
As this military person takes an inadvertent step closer, it hits you that his uniform is a proud display of his commitment to public service and freedom to your country. Does your heart beat a little faster? Will your eyes open a little wider?
This military person, who we do not even know, is defending not only our home soil, but each and every one of us every single day. The uniform worn by this person signifies that this is a protector of all that we consider to be sacred and secure.
Now, when the opportunity arises and you see or pass by a military service person in their proudly worn uniform, you can respond to them just as you would an athletic star, rock star, or movie star. You can smile wide and strong. You're seeing our security and freedom in action.
The rock star, athletic star, movie star, veterans and military are all stars and heroes in their own way.
My name is Carl, and I am completing this journey with you listeners in the Steady State Story Power. When I started this journey, I was one person. I am coming out a completely different person. And it's through you, it's through your willingness to listen that made me realize my worth, my strength, my identity, and my purpose that authenticates me. So while I was being discharged, I landed in Oakland, California, and I went through the discharge process there. Now, on that flight home, I must have thought of 100 different wonderful scenarios of what would have happened when I got there. And what made me the happiest was I'd be able to get to see all of the people and all those places that I just taken for granted before. Now I couldn't wait to go and visit them again. But then I got there. When I first got home, I had a story to tell, but I was just too hesitant to impose my memories on my family and the people that I knew. Ups and downs were pretty tough. The most important thing that I've realized with the support of the Veterans Listening Post is that I can really change my story, transforming from a why me person to a positive, can-do person. You know, when people take the time to really listen to us vets in the military, there's such a wonderful feeling of recognition and of appreciation. Really, it's nothing short of miraculous. And I would like to say many thanks to all of you who take the time to be listeners. So I've enjoyed every session, and I'll stay connected with the Steady State Story Power. It leads to uplifting and positive outcomes for me. Just want to tell you, listeners, you rock.
Let's pour out some gratitude for those in our support networks because they're always giving and trying.
Let's also pour out some large doses of forgiveness for ourselves and others. And please, let's always include large doses of humor and laughter.
Thank you for sharing your stories. We at the Veterans Listening Post would like to thank you for sharing this journey with us. It would be remiss of us not to mention that in the world today, more than ever, it's important that we take care of each other and celebrate all who have made a difference in their communities and for their country.
By being part of this experience, you are now a valued VMLP listener. You will see the positive change you will have just by listening. You are now part of the Pass It Forward mission to connect and recognize our veterans and military.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so very much for your time.